Hello, and welcome to the Anatomy of Knitting, episode 72. My name is Erin, and I'll be your host. Today is June 25th, 2015, and it is sort of a cloudy day here in Cork, Ireland, where I'm recording from. I have had a busy 2 weeks. I didn't record last week because there was just a bunch of errands that needed to be run. So those got all finished, and this week was a lot clearer, so here we are, recording. In this week's episode, I'll do a week in review. I'll do the works in progress. I will talk about some sewing stuff as well. So let's get started. Here's your cat peek number one. Let's see how many we get today. So the week in review, a few things that have happened since the last time I recorded. Let's see. We got another cold, which I am slowly recovering from. I apologize if I have to cough a few times. It's still kind of living in my lungs right now. It sounds like it's living in my nose, but there's a whole different reason for all the snotty nose yuckiness. Let's see, what else? We ended up going to the Cork Summer Show this past weekend. Where I come from in Seattle, Washington, there's a big county fair that's called the Puyallup, and they do all sorts of things. They have concerts, they have demonstrations, they have vendors, they have competitions for quilting and pie making and cookie making and all sorts of home domestic arts competitions, and there's a photography competition and all these sorts of things. And we ended up finding out that Cork has a similar thing, and they call it the Cork Summer Show. And it's mainly focused on agricultural stuff. So there was a lot of tractors, there was a lot of animals, there were horses, there were cows. What else was there? There was apparently a dog show that we missed. They did have a competition for knitting things and quilting things, but the home arts competition is very, very small compared to what I've seen at Puyallup. So we took the boys there on Sunday, on Father's Day. They seem to have a great time. You're going to see a lot of videos at the end from the summer show. They went on some rides that they hadn't done before. Well, actually, they've actually never really been on a ride before by themselves. And Nate did that on one of them, and then we took them on their first roller coaster, which was kind of fun. What else happened? I think that's it. We had our IPS meeting, which you all probably aren't as interested in. I'm just looking over the photographs that I've taken in the past week. And basically we've just recovered from being overseas. That's just mainly been the big thing, is recovering from our big trip. Yes, recovering. And the kitties were glad to see us back. And yeah, so the boys are doing good, and you'll see some videos at the end from them, or featuring them. So let's get started about the works in progress. The first thing I have is what you've been seeing. This is the Hitufude cardigan, and I don't remember how big the ball was when I last spoke to you all, but you could see that it's definitely a lot smaller. And the color is not showing up very true here. This is a really dark green, sort of like not an evergreen dark green, but like a forest green, I suppose. So there's that. And I'm currently on the last repeat of the lace chart. So as soon as I finish, I think it's as soon as I finish a purl row and then a knit and a purl row, I'll be ready to start the ribbing that's supposed to be at the bottom. But I'm thinking of extending the skirt portion of this. I'm just going to try to put it on so you can kind of see. Because even with the blocking, I don't think it's going to be long enough for my taste. And at least this way, you can see the lace pattern a little bit better. I haven't in any way blocked this in any shape or form, so that will still need to be done. And it seems pretty intuitive to keep increasing this skirt area. And I still have 2 whole skeins of the Wollmeise that I'm using. Excuse me, sweetie. This is what I'm using. Wollmeise 100% Merino in that colorway. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce it because I cannot speak German very well. And again, you can kind of see how it's green here, but yeah. So that's in progress. It's slow going because the rows are super long right now. I want to say that there's at least, 300 stitches on there so far. I think it's more, like probably 400 or so. So that's all the needles, and I'm only about 6 minutes in. This is probably going to be a short episode. And then the other thing that I have that I'm working on, remember the last time I showed you this hoe. This is a sock that I am currently knitting out of Schoppelwool Crazy Zauberball. There we go. There's all the details. And here is the sock number 1. And I started sock number 2. And I stopped this mid-row because I took my driver's test this morning and had to stop mid-row because I got called to go in to do that. So, let me just finish that row. Oh my gosh, things are so tangled up here. My goodness. Let's see if I can just finish this row for you. It's only about half of a row to finish. You get to see how I knit. I throw with my left hand. Yeah, so my driving test did not go very well. I did not pass because I made a mistake, what they call a grade 3 mistake. And yeah, that's all I'll say about that. So, there is how the sock is knitting up so far. I kind of got really tired of all this like 2-ply barber pulley looking yarn because I kind of like these areas where it's more solid. This is the ball of yarn. Apparently I have a lot of that 2-ply action coming up. There's not a whole lot of solid color that you can see coming up. So, whatever, it is what it is. I'll get these done and then start on the next ones. And the next sock yarn that I have in the queue is the one that I showed you last time I recorded. One of the socks that I purchased in the States when I was there. It is Knitted Wit, I believe. And it's that neon, flecky, white-based yarn. So, yeah, that is all the knitting that I've been knitting on. These like super long projects like the Hito Fude, which I've been working on at least for a couple of months. I'm just trying to come up with what I should do next. It's hard to just kind of knit and feel like you're not making any progress. I know I'm close to finishing, like per the instructions, but it doesn't feel anywhere close to being done to me, like lengthwise. So it's hard to not have a lot of knitting time anymore. Yeah, so I just keep trying to imagine what I'm going to do for my next big project. And I haven't done any knitting on the sock yarn blanket. It's still sitting in my IKEA trolley that's over there. And yeah, that's it for the knitting. Moving on to some sewing stuff. I'm going to show you the block for the block of the month that I came up with for the Irish Patchwork Society. And let's see, I'll move over here. It's going to be the X Plus block. It's a block that I've seen a lot in the more modern type of quilts. And it seems to be used a lot in Japanese quilting. That's where I've kind of seen a lot of it. But it was super fun to make. I really enjoyed making it and the fabrics that I chose. So for the next couple of months for the block of the month, I'll be doing it over the summer because we don't, the group doesn't meet because everything shuts down here in Ireland over the summer. So we won't meet in July or August, but we'll have a September meeting. So that's the game plan. Is as soon as I'm done recording, I'm going to go have lunch, and then I'm going to go upstairs and work on the next block. So some fun things that I would like to show you is we, as part of the Irish Patchwork Society, there is a newsletter that gets put out. I think it's quarterly that it's supposed to be put out, although I'm not exactly sure because it hasn't really been put out quite a lot since I moved here. So they were looking for quilts to go on the cover, and I just thought, hey, I got this summer challenge one that I really liked, and ta-da! I made the cover of the Irish Patchwork Society's newsletter. This is my summer challenge quilt that I made last year. As part of the summer challenge, we were given, we had to bring in 2 fat quarters worth of fabric. Those fat quarters would be cut into a shape, which we had no say in. My shape was this tumbler shape, which is, I guess you'd consider that a parallelogram. Maybe not. A trapezoid, I think, is more. It's been a while since I've had to take geometry. I think it's a trapezoid. So it's this, and then a cross. So there's a solid piece of square fabric in the middle, and then there's 4 of those tumbler shapes around. And let's see, there's a better picture where you can kind of see the whole thing, or a better idea. So that is my quilt on the cover. Excuse me. So that was exciting to find out. I had a total of 3 articles in here as well. I had the Southern Branch News, which is all the usual stuff. I had a profile of Elizabeth Hartman. She is a modern quilter. And those are my 2 bags there. This is the Super Sewing Tote. Hold on. It's not super. Sewing Circle Tote. That's what that is. And the Perfect Quilted Totes. And then I did the book review there, so I have the entire page there. And then if you keep it to yourselves, shh. I also am Dear Dorothy. That's my Grammy. And I have a Singer Featherweight that I left back in the States because I didn't want anything to happen to it with the power supplies being different. And I'm writing under a pseudonym for a quilting advice column. So 3 articles, and I have to come up with the next group of stuff that I'd like to write about. I have also started working on my next quilt, which is the Aviatrix Medallion. And this is a pattern by Elizabeth Hartman, who I just showed you the article that I wrote about her. Excuse me. The medallion quilts are, they have this one big fantastic block in the center, and then they're just surrounded by border upon border upon border upon border. And so for the Aviatrix Medallion quilts, it's a lone star in the center, but the way that the colors are set in that lone star, it has, I think it's 4 birds around. I will put a picture there of what I have done so far. You have all these little diamonds, and you make want to say it's 7 or 8 diamonds out of those little tiny diamonds. And I have, I want to say 5 diamonds done so far. So it must be 8 big diamonds. I have to look at the pattern to know for sure. I think I have 3 big diamonds to make up out of the small diamonds, and then 2 of the ones that I've completed I think I'm going to redo, just because they're not perfect, and I kind of want this quilt to be something that I could submit to exhibits or exhibitions. So, yeah, I want to make it perfect. And I have enough fabric to redo the centers so far. So, yeah, that's it. 15 minutes. I guess it's going to be a short show. I'll have more, hopefully, next week to talk about. Excuse me. And next week will be July. So, I will be next. I think there's only 30 days in this month. It will be July. So, I hope you all had a great time. I can't believe this is only going to be like 20 minutes long. In the end bit here, you're going to see a lot of video from the Cork Summer Show. You'll see some video from the boys. We followed the garbage truck around the neighborhood one day. And then I think there's just some pictures just from when we went to a local play area. So, I apologize for the shortness of the episode, but I haven't really had a great day so far, so I think that's kind of contributing to my shortness, my briefness. So, I hope you all have an excellent day, and I will see you next week. Bye! Hey, Malcolm. Malcolm, what are we doing?
This way?
What about that way?
Let's go up the truck.
We're watching the garbage truck? There goes Nate into the grass.
And the garbage truck.
He's gonna come back, okay? Just be patient. There's a car backing up. Where's the garbage truck? There's the garbage truck. Where is he?
Garbage truck! He comes back.
He comes back. There's the garbage man. Eek! Eek! All done? Thank you. Put it right there. The sailboats are on the ground there. See? No, Putzie water. Malcolm, Putzie water. What are we doing? What are we going to do?
Where are we gonna go see?
Where are we going to see?
See? Yes! Yes, like this.
Tractors, right? Tractors!
I see tractor.
Who's ready to go?
Yeah!
Let's go. Let's go. Where are we going, Malcolm?
The gift when you're hearing. Then when we
She's gotcha. And look, the ride's